SQL commands can be grouped into 5 main categories. We have the data definition language, DDL, data query language, DQL, data manipulation language, DML, transactional control language, TCL, and data control language, DCL. In this course, our focus will be on the first 3 groups because most of your daily SQL commands do fall within the first 3 categorized groups we have here. So data definition language, data query language, and data manipulation language. Commands that falls within data definition language are commands which are used to create and modify the structure of a database object. Now, just to remind you, a database object is anything that stores or contains data or references a data or points to a data. In the past, we've worked with the create command as well as the drop command. So the create command, when we created our database, our pets database, we created our table as well as our students table. All of this was using the create command. We also used the drop command when we deleted our pets database as well as our pets table. The next command on the DDL is the alter command. Now, before we dive into it, let's go ahead and create a new table. You don't have to type out this query. You can just copy it from the query file that I provided to you. Now we have a good sense of how the schema of a table is created. So you can just go ahead and copy this and paste it on or within your SQL server, which is what I'm going to do as well. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this query and paste. And what we're doing now is just to create a table. The table name will be dog. We have a dog ID. We have the name of our car. We have the breed as well as the color. Just going to run that. And let's insert some data into the table. So we have 3 records, and we can print out our record by using a select statement, select all. That will be from dog. And when we run this, we have our dog table. So to talk about the alter statement, now that we've created this dog table, what if we wanted to add a new column to this table? Well, we can't just go to this create schema and do this. Let's try that. And just so I don't mess it up, just gonna copy that and just move this down. And then just copy the same query that we used to create this dog table. Now, assuming we want to insert a new column, say age for age, I can't just do this and just add age and say int. When I try to run this, it's going to tell me that there is already an object named dog in the database because this is pretty much trying to recreate the table. So this doesn't work. So how do we add a new column onto a table that's been created already? So if we go back, so how do we add a new column to this dog table? And the way to do that is by using the alter command. So now let's go back and see what that looks like. So the syntax to alter our table is we write the alter command, so alter table. What's the name of the table? And then what's the change that we want to make to that table? In this case, we want to add a new column. So we say add, and what's the name of the column we would like to add? That will be the age. And what's the data type of the new column that we're adding onto the table? And then once we do that, we end with a semicolon. Okay, so let's add a new column to our dog table. So we go alter table, and the name of the table is dog. And what's the change we would like to do? We want to add a new column, And what's the name of the new column? It will be age. And what's the data type? Int. And then when we run this query, that's completed. And if we go back and retrieve or print out our doc table, now we see that we have a new column which has been added. And right now it says null because we've not inserted any information into that column. Let's insert a row of record onto the table. Let me just go insert into dog. And we'd like to insert the dog ID, the name, the breed, the color. And now because we've added an age column, let's add age as well. And what are the values? Would have, let's say, dog ID 7. Our dog name would be Jack. And the breed will be, let's see, what do we have? Just gonna go with Pug. And the color will be brown. And the age will be 5. When we run this, one row affected. And if we print out our dog table, now we have the last record, Jack, which is a pug, and we have the colors brown and age is 5. Let's make another alter statement. This time, let's add 2 more columns to our dog table. So we'll go alter table. It's going to be our dog table. And what we want to do is to add 2 new columns. The first column will be microchip. We want to know if our dog does have a microchip. And this would be varchar because the answer into that column will be either a yes or a no. And then we can have varchar 10. And the second column would be, let's see, we could add eye color. So we just say eye color. And that would be a varchar. We can make that 10 as well. Now when we run this, we'd have 2 new columns added to our table. So now we have dog ID, name, breed, color, age, microchip, eye, color, and microchip, then eye color. Let's insert one record. So we'll have insert into dog. And what do we want to insert? Let's start with the 2 new columns we just created. So we want microchip. We'd like to see eye color. We want to see dog ID, the name, the breed, skin color, what other information? I think that's about it. And breed, color. See, are we missing anything? I think that's about it. And the values would be, say, yes. And eye color would be, let's go with brown. Dog ID, let's say 13. The name would be, let's go with Smiley. Smiley is an Alsatian. And the color is black. Okay, so we can run this now. One row affected. And when we select all from dog, now we see we have the information. So we did not include the age in this record, and I'll get into, we'll talk more about this in an upcoming video, because it is possible, even though we defined all of those columns, we don't have to insert record in all of those columns. But like I said, we'll talk more about that in detail in upcoming videos. So far, we've seen how to add new columns to our table. What if we would like to change the attribute of one of the column? So right now, if we look at the schema of this doc table, we have under the name, the maximum character that this can contain is 10. What if we have a dog name that is longer than 10, and how do we insert that information? How do we now accept that name, or what changes can we make to our table? Well, why don't we start by trying to insert a dog into a dog table that has more than 10 character name. So let's say insert into dog, and what we want is we want the dog ID, we want the name, and we want the column, and we'll just insert 3 records, insert records into 3 columns. And we have the values, we have the dog ID would be, let's say 15, and let's say the name is, let's say silly, sassy, Sammy, maybe silly, sassy, Sammy. That should be more than 10 characters. And then the color would be, let's say gray. Well, we're gonna run into a problem here because, and let's just do that. So it's gonna come with an error saying the string of binary data would be truncated in the table, the accompanying DBO dog column name. So essentially what this is saying is that we have a name that is more than 10 characters. So if we, and let's take a look at our dog table and see if there's been any change. So right now we see that this dog has not been inserted, this record has not been inserted, simply because the name is more than the 10 characters that we stipulated when we created the schema, the schema of this doc table. So we can alter that, we can make a change to such that we could increase this to maybe 20, 50, or any character length that then can contain the length of the dog name. So the syntax to make changes within the column is we have the alter command to alter table, the name of the table, and then alter column, and would include the name of the column we want to make a change to, and the column data type, so the new data type that would be in that column. So we'd say alter table, and the name of the table is dog. We'd tab, and then we'd say alter column. And what's the name of the column that we want to make change to? That would be the name. And what's the change that we want to implement? So that would be, that will now be varchar, and we want to make it 20. So when we run this, it says command completed successfully. And now let's try and insert this data. And now we're able to insert it because we can, this character is not up to the total amount of this character. We could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's less than the 20 characters that we've stipulated here. So now we're able to insert that record into the table. If we select our doc table, now we see that Silly Sassy Sammy has been added to our table. What if we would like to drop one of the columns in our table? We can also do that with the alter command. And what we do is just type alter table, the name of the table, and then drop column and the name of the column would like to drop. So let's try that in our SQL server. So we say alter table, that's the dog table, and we would like to drop the, let's drop the dog ID, drop column, and what's the, that would be dog ID. When we run this command, that's completed. And if we select our table, we see that we don't have the dog ID anymore. One more thing I'd like to show you is how to add comments within your queries. Adding comment in your queries could be a way to remind you of certain steps you intend taking as you code along or as you code. It is also possible that maybe someone might need access to your code for whatever reason, and you like to sort of give a description as to what the set of queries are doing or what it's supposed to do. There are a couple of ways in which we can add comments within our queries, and I'm just going to open a new box. So we have the single line comment and we have the multi-line comment. The single line comment means that typically you'll be given a description within just a single line. So, and the way to do that is you just have to type in the minus sign twice or the dash sign twice. And on your keyboard, that would be the key just before the plus sign. And then you can, once you type in the two dashes, then you can write whatever comment you want to write. So let's say I say step 1, create a new table. And we can see that this is highlighted in green. Now, if I go down and say create table, let's say dog2, and what do I want in that table? We want, just gonna do name, varchar, let's say 50, and let's just do 2 columns, age, and that'll be int. And I can just close that. So what I want you to also pay attention to is even if I highlight all of this, including the comment, and I execute that, the code would still run. And what's happening here is that even when I select all of this, the comment is being ignored. So I'm able to still run this code without this comment interfering with my code. So let's say I wanted to make another comment and I can add another comment and say step 2 would be to insert new records. And when I go to the next line, I could then do insert into doc2. And what do we want to insert? Like the name and the age. Then the values would be, the name would be Tom, and the age would be, say, 5. And when I run this again, it's all good. So this is the single line comment. We also have the option for multiple line comment, and this will be in situation in which perhaps your comment would extend beyond one line. Then you can also comment that out. So the way to do that would be you have the / and then the star, and to do that is just the shift and the key 8 on your keyboard, and then you can, let's say, today I will be creating some tutorial, and I just press the enter. Tutorial videos and would be teaching online. Now, none of this makes sense, but you get what I'm trying to do. So we see that even as I move down, whatever I type, it's all in green, which means that it's all commented out. Now, to end this comment, all I need to do then is Shift 8, and then again with a forward slash. And now if I go and say create, I'm just gonna make a space, create table, dog 3, and we just want the name, and that would be, just make things proper, name, that'll be varchar 30, that'll be all. And if I do this, I'm good to go. So this is how we include comments in our queries.